Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this impromptu AMA, Ask Me Anything. This is Tom Dermody, mayor of the beautiful city of LaPorte. And today I'm joined for a brief AMA I should say, Jake Sipes of the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. And Jake, welcome. We're glad to have Jake here because we're starting to hear a lot about what's available in emergency rental assistance. And Jake, welcome. We love to have you from the state, and we want to make sure our residents have accessibility, availability for funds that are out there that will help them that have kind of suffered through the difficult pandemic of COVID-19.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mayor, for inviting me to be here. And I'm really privileged to give you an opportunity to share this information with you, and especially for renters right now who may be behind or have experienced some hardship related to the pandemic. So.
Well, it's great to have you. Jake Sipes. Well, excuse me, we've got additional media going, but you received $300 million from the federal government. You still have $280 million. Do you think that's the small usage has been about the moratorium that's been extended, which now ends at the end of July?
We've had some good applications coming in. We launched our emergency rental assistance program back in March, and we are accepting applications through indianahousingnow.org. So renters who have experienced some hardship related to the pandemic certainly can get up to 12 months of rental assistance and utility assistance. So this just isn't a rental assistance program. We also are providing assistance for utilities, and that includes your energy, which may be your electric, your gas, bulk fuel. If you're on wood, we could help with that as well. And then also with your water, your wastewater, your internet, and your trash. And we bring those current. Those are arrearages for the utilities. For the rent, we can go from arrears, or we can also help pay moving forward. The maximum is 12 months of assistance that we can provide for one renter household. For their rent and their utilities is the maximum is 12 months. We can go back to April 1st of 2020. So if in theory, if we have someone who is really that far behind on their rent or their utilities, we could go back as far for 12 months as back to April 1st of 2020, bring them current. So.
Well, that's amazing. 12 months due to the pandemic. And it seems like, and we're so appreciative of this, but it seems like you're very flexible on what a hardship related to COVID-19 is.
You know, when we designed the program, one of the first things we wanted to do was a couple of things. Number one, we wanted to provide as much assistance as possible, understanding that housing stability involves rent and utilities. So we're one of the only few states in the entire country that is also providing the utilities. So we're providing rent and utility assistance. But then, to your point, we wanted to also make sure that we had a program that was flexible and really thinking about hardship. And that hardship could be defined by that household in whatever way that may be. A loss of hours, a loss of a job, a loss of a loved one, increase in medical bills. So those are just some examples of how a household might be able to demonstrate that hardship. So trying to be flexible and understanding related to the unique things that could have happened to that household during the pandemic. And so that's what we're looking for. You do have to show a hardship that is clearly under the regulations under the U.S. Department of Treasury. That's where these dollars are coming from. So we do have to show a hardship. How you show that, there's a lot of different ways in which a household might have been infected by the household or by the pandemic.
And as we look at the screen, the first screen that states emergency rental assistance, and that'll be coming up here momentarily. You look here, and again, to remind everybody, utilities, home energy, internet arrears, trash, water, so other things other than rent. But not only is this for tenants, but landlords, proactive landlords, can also help make sure they receive dollars by helping those individuals maybe that need help with the internet, maybe need help filling out applications. That's a possibility, correct?
Yeah, this is a partnership. We have to have the landlords helping us out with this. There's a lot of different ways. So number one, to your point, this is online. Apply at indianahousingnow.org. And we recognize that there might be some households who are not tech savvy, whether that may be with not having access to the internet or may not have the right device to log in. There's a couple things. Landlords should be able to help assist their renters with, number one, making them aware that the program is available. If one of your renters needs help, assist them. If you can give them some space in the community room or allow them the opportunity to use the laptop to submit the application, that assistance from our landlords. We're seeing this all over the state where landlords are being proactive and working with their renters to help them with applying. Because once we can get the renter approved, we're going to immediately inform the landlord that their renter has been approved. And so we need to verify the information. So we need to know what the lease is. We need to know how much they're behind or what that monthly amount is. We need to know what the landlord bank account information so we can electronically transfer those dollars to the landlord, because that's the most efficient way to do that. So we do need landlords' participation in order for us to move quickly as we can to make sure that those payments are made. In terms of the rent, it's fair market rent. And one of the things we did to try to keep the program simple was to take the highest amount of fair market rent in the state and apply that statewide. So there is a rent limit that we can apply, but you'll see that those numbers are pretty high in terms of being able to assist a monthly amount for a renter's household based on the bedroom size.
And how long has this program been available? Since March?
Yeah, we launched the program about mid-March was when we first launched it.
Okay. Now, how soon, apparently we have one from our Center Township trustee, Lisa Pierce-Sikowski. How soon will we be teaming funds to all those that are being evicted right now? Well, really, there shouldn't be any evictions right now because there's a moratorium till the end of July, unless they're tearing up the apartment and so forth. So I understand this can take up to 60 days, but it should be available.
Yeah, one of the first things once we do is we get the application approved, we'll notify the resident that they've been approved, and then we notify the landlord that they've been approved. And so then at that point, we need to work with the landlord and the utility companies to verify the amounts and to also get the documentation so that we can begin to make those payments. Because we're doing the utilities, if you are familiar, last year under Governor Holcomb, we launched a rental assistance program as well. It wasn't nearly as robust as this one. That program moved a little bit quicker than this one because we weren't doing utilities. And so now that we're also doing utilities, it is taking a little bit longer, unfortunately. We're working on some of the things to improve the process, make it quicker, but it is right now a little bit slow. We do have several thousand applications that we're processing and working on getting payments out the door. But yeah, so you're looking at 60 days, but we do ask for you to be patient. We will notify the landlord and the resident once they've been approved, and then we got to work with them to see if we can transfer those funds to help with that rent and that utility amount.
And we do appreciate you have to do your due diligence. This is taxpayer funded, so you have to be responsible of those tax dollars. And while it's great support, you are responsible to make sure it's needed and do the due diligence necessary. Now, if you look here on the first screen, so for this, and I think you used Indianapolis as the assistance standard, these rents seem very good for the city of LaPorte. These are amounts that people can apply for that they could receive up to if they're approved, correct?
That's correct. That would be the maximum amount that we could provide. So for an example, a 2-bedroom unit, the maximum we could apply for a month is $946. So
for a 2-bedroom, $946, 3-bedroom, $1,248. So that means if they're currently paying up to that or some amount below, that's what they can apply for.
That's correct. Yes.
That's fantastic. So if we look, and again, I want to remind everybody, there's $280 million. Jake, did you ever think it could be difficult to give away or to support a need like this for 280 million? Because it's surprising that you still have that much ready to help.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but we're up for it. We did it last year. We set up a program in 30 days, thanks to Governor Holcomb. We launched that program. We put $50 million out. This program is much more robust, a lot more benefit assistance that we can provide. But that does take a little bit more time. As you said, we have to do our due diligence. We do have to verify with the landlord and utility companies that we do have an actual bill amount and what that amount is, and verify it and make sure we get the right account information. The other thing too, I want to point out, Mayor, and this was something that was different from last year, and I think there was a little bit of confusion. If someone has already receiving rental assistance, we can still provide some assistance. If they got assistance last summer, they could be eligible this year for this program. I know there was some folks who thought, well, yeah, I got assistance last year and I probably won't apply for this one because I'm not eligible. That's not true. If someone's on Section 8, or if they're receiving some other rental assistance with another program, and they're having to pay a certain percentage, we can cover that amount that they're having to pay. It could also apply just for utilities. If you're current on your rent and you're comfortable with your rent and you need just to get current on your utilities, we can do that too. So there is a tremendous amount of flexibility here for renters to apply. We like to say, don't get caught up in trying to determine whether or not you're eligible or not. Go ahead and submit the application. The worst we're going to tell you is no. And that's okay, if we determine, but we really have tried to create a program that provides as much assistance and as flexibility as we can for renters in terms of the eligibility.
And as we look up and on the second page of this document, the referral and sign up information, so people can pull up www, and it should be up momentarily here. Let's see.
Yeah, indianahousingnow.org is the website. I'll mention this too about indianahousingnow.org. That's where you go to begin your application. There's a one-pager that we have just for renters that helps them understand the program. For landlords, we have a one-pager. We have a frequently asked questions. We also have one that kind of shows you examples of how assistance might flow for the rent and the utilities and what months might be eligible. So we have a lot of information there. We try to make it simple and easy to understand. We have those one-pagers for folks. I should mention, because I know there might be some folks outside of the city of LaPorte, if you're in Elkhart or Lake County, Fort Wayne, St. Joseph County, they have their own programs. So we're operating in about 96 counties right now. So those other counties have their own programs that you would apply for. But for the folks in LaPorte, go right to indianahousingnow.org. And you can find out the information and you can start that application as well.
And Jake, for those that may not be, comfortable on the computer to fill out applications, they can also call, what is that now, Indiana 211 for assistance?
Yeah, we had a great partnership with Indiana 211. Not only will they provide you with some assistance in terms of answering your questions, we have them trained. They can help you get your application started as well if you need that that help as well. So,
okay, and we'll move on. I think the communications toolkit section. Again, this toolkit, Jake, speak to that as this comes up on the screen, and we'll also make this available, I think, with some help here.
Yeah, so I think the best way to communicate this information obviously is at the grassroots level. Thanks for your leadership, Mayor, to get this information out. Our faith-based organizations, our community not-for-profit organizations, to help with sharing this information across their community. That's the best way really for this information to get dispersed. So we created a little toolkit that has the ability to send it out through social media. If you want to do a radio piece on this, you could do that as well. So we give you some of those talking points. We do have radio ads that are going to be airing here within the next few weeks. That'll be going out across the state as well. But yeah, so this toolkit is really designed for really our local community organizations and community leaders to take this message and share it. Because as you know, a lot of these folks today might be the first time they've ever asked for assistance for something like this. And they may be somewhat hesitant and not trusting. And I want to make sure that all renters know that they should trust that logo of IHCDA and they need to know that this program's a legit program. It's a real program. We're here to help them with getting them current and ensuring that they have housing stability. We're also really focused on our landlords to make sure we understand a lot of our landlords have had a challenging year with not having the cash flow that they need to keep their own properties in good standards. So here's a great opportunity for landlords to work with their renters so that we can bring them current and to make sure that that rent is being paid. So, you know, we all kind of have to work on this together. And so if there's anything that I really do appreciate you, Mayor, trying to help get this information out, and our landlords and our other organizations to share, especially with some of our most vulnerable population out there that have been impacted by the pandemic, and let them know that the assistance is here, it's real, and we're working really hard to get these dollars into your community.
And that's why it's important to start now. And that's why we wanted to do this before the 4th of July weekend begins, because even though the moratorium doesn't, end until the end of July, you should start now. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get it started. Put the onus on us to move as quickly as we can. We're trying to do everything we can to move these applications through. I know I got a whole team here of about 150 people that are working on this, and we're pedal to the metal. And so we're trying to move as quickly as we can in a responsible way. But we do need everyone's help: landlords, utility companies, renters, to get us the information so we can get you processed.
Great. So one of the questions, if we can take a few questions here, what about seniors on fixed income and need help with utilities? And basically, if there are COVID-related issues, they can definitely apply, and it doesn't hurt anything to call Indiana 211 or www.indianahousingnow.org, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. If we have someone who's on fixed income and their rent's taken care of, but they're behind on their water bill or their electric or their gas, we can just help you with utilities. If that's what you need, we can help bring you current. We can bring you current is how what we can do.
Great. How long does this take after approval has been approved and still nothing, with the landlord being impatient? So I think you've given notice once they're approved, and it's usually, is it roughly 60 days after that? Is that the goal?
Yeah, I would say that's probably a good fair number. Yeah.
So
we're trying to improve that, but yes.
But you have to do, again, while these dollars are out there, you just don't want to write checks without having due diligence. These are taxpayer dollars. And I know there's a lot of organizations offering the money, but there has to be responsibility putting that out. So if a landlord, and again, I don't know if this is your area, but evictions based on lack of payment are not allowed in the state of Indiana through the end of July, correct?
Under the CDC guidance, that's correct, yeah.
Okay. So then what about people on fixed incomes with prices going up? Even if we have to pay our rent, there's not much left over. But again, if it's COVID related, take the time, apply. There's $280 million in the state of Indiana, and we in LaPorte want to make sure our residents are aware and doing their part to apply.
Yes, absolutely.
So evictions are still happening, and we've heard that really doesn't fall under your bailiwick, but it sounds like that would be an attorney. This individual would need to get a private attorney and discuss there. And again, to non-payment, there have been condemnations, evictions due to people trashing apartments, not following the standards. But again, for non-payment, they should probably check their legal representative. One question here is, can you share with the chat regarding someone looking to move into a new home? Is there assistance for that?
Not right now under this program. We don't have that assistance available just yet. That would probably fall more under more of a traditional rental assistance program.
Which again, your local township trustees, Catholic charities, there are plenty of organizations that will help in some fashion, and we'll be glad to help out. So if they don't fill out the CDC, they are being evicted. I'm not sure that was a statement. I don't think that's related to you, but if you fill out.
Yeah, when it comes to the eviction issue, if someone is being evicted for for non-payment of rent, which is right now technically, that's the moratorium that's in place, is for non-payment of rent. I would recommend you can go to the Attorney General's website. They do have a piece where you can file a consumer complaint. Also, there's organizations like Indiana Legal Services that can provide free legal advice for you. The Indiana Supreme Court has a landlord mitigation program that's also available for renters and landlords to kind of work through some of those things. On our website, where we have on that communication toolkit, you'll see that at the bottom there. We also have a renter eviction and foreclosure prevention guide. And a lot of those resources are in there that walks renters through what should you be doing during this time, and helps you kind of identify maybe what are the best paths to go down if you are being evicted. Think about legal services, the Indiana Supreme Court's landlord resident eviction mediation program that they have. So there are some other tools out there. That's more on the judicial side, but we do have some of those items in our prevention guide that we have available.
Is there income guidelines for individuals or families that are applying?
We do. It's called 80% of the area median income. And we apply this statewide. We didn't come up with an income limit for all of the counties. This was another way in which we try to keep the program simple. But for a family of four, it's $57,850 would be the maximum income amount. Now remember, if you exceeded that prior to the pandemic and then you've had a reduction of income, you might qualify. So you need to take that into consideration. That's the reason why we tell folks, go ahead and apply. Allow us to work through your income, your amount, so we can determine whether or not you're eligible or not. So, for a family of four, that's $57,850. For one person, it's $40,500. So you mentioned some folks who might be on fixed income or single parents or things like that. So a household of two is $46,250.
And that information is also available on the website.
It is, and it's also on my slide there that I gave as well. That'll be available for folks.
Perfect. And even, are you monitoring those that may have spent stimulus money, not paying rent or paying in other ways? We've had a question here that haven't used to the rent. Are you judging that, or is it more income based in the situation that's come up and lack of money to pay rent?
Yeah, so we're looking at income and then the hardship. We don't get into folks' financials, budgeting or anything like that. No, we don't get into that.
Is it possible that someone could be told they're approved and then in the final stage and then be denied?
I'm not aware of that happening, unless we were to discover something in which someone didn't provide us with the appropriate information up front. But once we get them approved, we're moving forward on then at that point making those payments and working with their landlord and their utility company to get those payments made and verifying those amounts.
So really it's to a benefit of a landlord as well to help. Can they apply direct, or they have to help the tenant and the tenant has to be the only one to apply? Right
now, landlords can assist a renter, but the renter has to submit the information to get it started. Once we get it started, we do follow up with the landlord because we do need information from the landlord, like verifying the lease and the amount and things like that. So, yeah.
And then if a landlord, if it's been approved, or a renter and, hey, I was approved and haven't seen something for 60 days, how do they ask the question or receive an update to say, hey, what's happening?
When they submit that application, they're going to get an applicant number. So if they haven't heard from us in a couple of weeks, they need to follow back up and let us know, because we do send them immediately an email with their applicant number that they have, and we can check on that. So yeah, we do need them to keep that application. If something stops, if they don't hear from us for a while, they need to let us know. If I'm a renter, one of the first things I'll also do is make sure my landlord knows that I applied, because the landlord needs to be looking out, because we're going to contact the landlord immediately to let them know that you've applied, you've been approved. So sometimes we've seen some landlords some renters not putting in the accurate email address for their landlords, and so sometimes with that communication gets broken. So if you are a renter, you apply, make sure that your landlord knows that you have applied, so that they need to be on the lookout for messages from ICDA.
And the best way to check and follow up, and I may have missed that though. So if someone has a question, they can email.
Yeah, there's an email. They'll get informed immediately once they apply, and then that comes from our team. So yeah, and on the website they can go in. So yeah.
And our Center Township trustee also said if you fill out, make sure you give your landlord the CDC paperwork, or they can evict even for past due rent. So this is amazing, Jake. We have $280 million still to give out. The state of Indiana is ready to help north to south. LaPorte, for those that are struggling, we want to be there for you. There's plenty of opportunities to provide funding now, but I would say this is the biggest pot of money available to help our residents due to the global pandemic.
Yes, that's correct. Please go to indianahousingnow.org or call Indiana 211. And if you're in a situation where you need assistance, please apply.
Well, we appreciate this and all the work. I know the 150 people will be busy in your organization there, but they're ready. And again, start early. Don't wait till the last week. And once the landlord's aware or the tenant's aware, make your landlord aware. And what else? Any other last items you want to remind people?
If you're a homeowner and need assistance, we are working on launching a foreclosure prevention program, but it won't be available for a few more months. So if you're a homeowner and you're past due, make sure you're participating in any type of forbearance program. And then we're going to be launching a new program for mortgage assistance here later this summer. So that'll be coming as well.
Well, we're going to help. We also have plenty of opportunities for jobs, good paying jobs here in LaPorte. We're glad to help set up there, because again, people need to get through this tough time and there are opportunities. We did have a question about what's the LaPorte 4th of July celebration budget. I apologize. You always have a couple. And again, this is a Kiwanis event. We're excited that they're doing the parade 4th of July, and with the help of Joy and Dawn Ziegler making it happen. You may not know this, Jake, but we are the capital of Indiana for the day on the 4th. We have a tremendous turnout, and our only investment or budget, I guess, is being there and getting the opportunity to celebrate. But we do appreciate it that Kiwanis has taken this on. So I'll kind of end it there with thank you, and enjoy your 4th of July. And you're always welcome here in LaPorte. And if people have questions, 211 indianahousingnow.org. And if you do receive an email, respond to the email, check on it, and you will get a response, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And if you haven't received your dollars in 60 days, definitely reach out, email with your case number.
Please do so.
Jake, thanks for the time. Everybody have a great 4th as we move to the weekend, and don't hesitate to come on again, Jake, with any new information.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
Have a great day.